I'm Morgan. I work in the admissions office as a recruiter, and I'm about to mute myself to let everybody get this started. So if the panelists want to introduce themselves, we can start with Alex.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Alex. I'm going to be a senior this upcoming academic year. I'm majoring in political science and international studies. I'm from Green Forest, Arkansas. And just a couple of the things I'm involved in on campus. I'm a member of the sorority Alpha Sigma Tau. I'm involved with the Student Activities Board. I'm a member of the Presidential Leadership Cabinet, and I've also been a resident assistant on campus.
Okay, next.
I guess I can go next.
Okay, how about Dakota?
Okay, hey everybody, my name is Dakota. I'm going to be a senior next year. I am involved in the Pi Kappa Alpha fraternity, serve on the exec board of the Student Government Association, and I'm a member of Order of Omega and the Interfraternity Council.
And it's my turn now?
Yes.
All right, hey everybody, my name is LeBron Phillips. I'm involved in a couple of things, just name a few. Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. I work in the admissions office as a student working in admissions. Also work for the Department of Residence Life as a student ambassador in the front office. And I'm also on the executive board for SAB, which is Student Activities Board. And I'll be a senior this year.
Right, Elizabeth or Gabby, sure.
My name is Gabby Soa. I'm also going to be a senior. I graduate in December. My major is public relations and speech communication with a minor in social media. Some things I'm involved in on campus. I serve as the director of structured recruitment for the College Panhellenic Council. I'm also a member of Order of Omega and I'm a member of one of the 4 sororities under the College Panhellenic Council. I'm also a senior senator for SGA. Like Alex and LeBron, I've also worked in residence life. I think that's it. There's probably more. Orientation. I do some other stuff too.
Okay, hey, I guess I can go now. So my name is Elizabeth. I am a senior nursing major. I'm from Stamps, Arkansas, and I am involved in the sorority Alpha Sigma Tau also, and I'm also a member of the Student Nursing Association, as well as on the executive board of Order of Omega.
Hello everyone, my name is Graydon Turner. I'll be a senior Econ Finance and Business Management major next year. I'm from Grapevine, Texas. I'm involved in SGA and I'm the president of Pi Kappa Alpha on campus.
All right, cool. And now that we've got our introductions finished, does anybody have a question that they want to start us off with?
Can I throw something in there real quick?
Yeah.
Can we make sure Caitlin, and I guess I should probably introduce myself too, but definitely Caitlin. So guys, some of you have probably seen me, but I'm the Associate Director for Recruitment. I want to throw out there, please turn on your cameras. It makes it so much more fun for everyone. We get to see each other's faces and meet people. We want, especially in a session like this, we really want you to meet each other.
I'll introduce myself. My name is Caitlin Beard. I am the graduate admissions officer. So I work more with the graduate college. So hit me up in a few years if you want to go ahead and get your master's degree. I was going to say, if you do have questions, you can send them in the chat. If it's more of a question that you don't want everyone to know that you're asking, you can send that to me privately as well, and I won't out you or anything. So no question is a dumb question.
Okay, I'll start off with the first question. So what has been your favorite part of being involved on campus at Arkansas Tech?
I'll go ahead and answer that to start off. I think my favorite part has just been the sheer amount of people that I've gotten to know through the different organizations I've been involved in. Coming from like a really small town, I don't know if any of you have heard of Green Forest, but it's pretty small. I didn't expect to get to know and be really close friends with some of the people I am now. So I guess that's just been a really great thing about being involved at Tech.
I would say the same thing as Alex. It's just a very at-home feeling. With me being from Little Rock, I'm only an hour away from home, but sometimes say you get a C on a paper that you thought you were going to do really good on, that hour can be a good little drive. So it's good to have family on the campus that you're at.
I think for me, a different approach, like Alex, like Graydon, I'm also from Texas. We're both kind of from the same Dallas area. So for me, I didn't know anybody going to Tech, so getting involved was the first thing that I wanted to do. So I joined a sorority, and then I definitely got more involved with residence life. That's when I started to join other clubs. My major specifically, I'm in 2 journalism clubs, so I've made friends that way. And getting involved just helped me kind of branch out more, and I'm thankful that I did that.
I think my favorite thing about getting involved at Tech is definitely the sports aspect. I'm a big proponent, big sports guy I love cheering on Tech. I think the best part about sports at Tech is it's just the right size where it gives you kind of that big school feel. Like we're a very large D2, but at the same time, you can be friends with the people who are playing. You can be classmates with them. You know them personally. You know where they're from, their hobbies, their interests. And then you get to go out and cheer for them every weekend. And that's been my greatest reward being involved at Tech, is getting to know all our student athletes and really becoming good friends with them. I think that's a really great aspect about Tech.
I think like Alex said, the people that you get to meet, and also and all the experiences that you get to have, really just you have the opportunity to make so many awesome memories while you're in college. And I think those little memories are just something that you can always carry with you. And I think that has probably been one of my biggest rewards of getting involved while I'm in college.
Yeah, I think like everybody else has said, like there's so many rewards that comes with getting involved at Tech. But specifically at Arkansas Tech, we have so many different opportunities. So it doesn't really matter what your interests are. You can find a way to get involved, and you can find a group of people that are like-minded as you and have similar interests, similar values. So you're going to find your home, and you're going to make lifelong connections and have lifelong experiences that, you aren't going to get anywhere else. So that's definitely been one of my favorite things.
Awesome. And so V has asked, how do you manage your time when you get involved in everything on campus?
I can answer this kind of.
Go ahead, Gabby.
Are you gonna mute yourself, or are you just gonna keep talking?
Sorry. I have a lot to say. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just kidding. For me, managing time on campus, since my freshman year, with me graduating in 6 months, which is kind of terrifying to think about now. But I've gotten more involved kind of every semester. So what I've done is I am like super crazy kind of, I need things to be planned and organized. I have pretty bad anxiety when it comes to things not being set in stone. So for me, like I write everything down at least 7 times. I am not joking when I say I have like a desktop computer or computer calendar. I have a planner calendar. I have the planner on my phone. I also have a little like sticky note next to my desk where I'll like mark things off. It sounds crazy, but it's probably the best way to keep me kind of on top of things. If a meeting kind of comes up last minute, that's another thing, is joining these organizations, you are going to have meetings. So kind of being on top of, there might be one week that you have 14 meetings like I've had before, and there might be one week that you only have 2. Being able to kind of get those planned and organized really helps. So that's one thing that I recommend.
Thanks, Gabby. Good job. Proud of you. I'm like the complete opposite of Gabby. So planners and I do not get along. I can't do it. The inside of my brain is like a little pinball machine, and there's just a lot of things bouncing around all the time. So it's a little bit chaotic, but still being like really involved and keeping like a really high GPA is definitely possible. You just kind of have to prioritize the things that you need to get done and how you need to get them done. So, if that means that you go to an organization event and then you stay up until 2 a.m. to do your assignment, like you did your assignment, you still got to be involved. So it's definitely just prioritizing things. And if being really involved is something that you prioritize, then it's definitely possible to get all of your work done as well.
Proud of you, Dakota.
Kind of
Thank you.
just reiterating what Dakota said, it's definitely important to prioritize. I'm not going to lie, there have been many days where I've been overwhelmed and stressed just by the sheer amount of meetings I need to go to, assignments I need to complete, and then on top of that, also having 3 on-campus jobs. And I'd just like to mention that real quick, that I think having an on-campus job has allowed me to be able to work during college, but also allowed me to really prioritize my schoolwork that way, because on-campus employment, they're going to work with your school schedule and they'll also work with your organizations and things like that.
Yeah, like Alex said, I think it's really important to prioritize everything. With me being a nursing major, I have clinicals and all kinds of, some weeks are really crazy and then some weeks I kind of don't have a lot going on. And so I think it's just really important for you to know where your priorities lie and make sure you have a good understanding of that, so that you can kind of make sure you know what you need to focus on when you need to focus on it.
All right, cool. And then Isabel asked, any tips for dealing with anxiety while in college?
I kind of touched on it a little bit, but that was one thing for me. I moved 5 hours away from home and I was kind of by myself. 3 years ago, I was in a triple room in Nut, which with all of this COVID stuff going on, you guys aren't going to have to worry about being in quads and triples because social distancing. Good for you guys. But I got to know my roommates really well, and they were kind of like getting to know the people that live around you, which may seem scary. There being 20, 50 people in your wing, in your residence hall. Getting to know people definitely kind of eases that. The biggest thing you have to realize is we are all kind of going through the same thing. We're all new to college. We definitely come from different backgrounds, but this is all kind of a culture shock to us. So it's okay to have anxiety, and it's okay to kind of seem, I don't know, have change going on and feeling different, and kind of reaching out to your peers, professors, if you feel like you're falling behind in a class. That's one thing, is I know for my department, and all of the other student leaders can definitely attest to it as well, your professors want you to succeed. They don't want you to fail. So being able to reach out to them and let them know that you're having any kind of problems is kind of the biggest thing. So just find different outlets that make you happy. And I mean, the university has tons of those. So just kind of keep your eyes out for those opportunities.
I think also Tech has some really great resources. Tech has a counseling center that is, if you just want to go in and talk about your day, tell them what's going on, it's so awesome that is a resource that you have. You get 10 free sessions a semester. I highly recommend taking advantage of those. If that's something that you feel like you need to do, go for it. It's a great opportunity if that's something that you want to use or that you need.
Adding on to what Elizabeth was saying about the counseling center, they also have this really great resource called the Biofeedback Lab, and you get unlimited access to that all during the semester. And basically what it is, they've set up different like stress relieving activities and different like sensory things to help relieve anxiety. And it's just like a really great space. And once you get to Tech, you can schedule an appointment to go to the Biofeedback Lab and just hang out and kind of relieve the stress from your day.
All right, and it looks like Meg is interested in figuring out stuff about the outdoors aspect of Arkansas Tech. Meg asked, are there any specific areas for hammocking, or can you set up anywhere? Also, where do you rent kayaks?
So with hammocking, we have 4 different spots where you can hammock on campus. And I don't know if that was those are put up by SGA or Campus Life, but they actually have like hammock posts where you can go hammock. Also, to rent kayaks and canoes and all that good stuff, you can actually go to the campus rec, and you don't even have to rent it. You can go, not you can go. You can take your tech ID. That's like your golden ticket on campus. That's what I like to say during the tours. Take your tech ID and actually just sign up for forms and hey, you'll bring this back in 3 days. You can get bikes, bats, fishing poles. So it's a lot of free opportunities with the campus rec that you can participate in.
Thank you for answering that, LeBrian. And next up, how do you get an on-campus job? Also, what jobs are there for work study?
I'll go ahead and answer this one. To get an on-campus job, they list them all on an app called Handshake. And all you have to do is download that app and then enter what school you attend. And all job openings that Tech has will be listed on Handshake. And if you go and ask someone, they'll just tell you and download Handshake. So if you want to be proactive, just go ahead and download that. And you can see what's already open. And the jobs that are available for work study are based off your federal need and FAFSA and things like that. So that would be a great question to see if you're eligible for the ladies in the Career Services Center, if you want to go and ask them once you get on the campus. But that's a great resource, Handshake. That'll have everything you need on there.
And I'd just like to say there's so many different employment opportunities at Tech. I've had several different jobs on campus, and I feel like almost every department or office that you go into, you'll see a student worker, whether that's the library, residence life, campus life, admissions. So I definitely think if you're interested in a campus job, then more than likely you'll be able to find something.
Also, Career Services is hosting a session tomorrow at 11 a.m. if anybody's interested in joining to learn more about the opportunities that the Career Center has.
I will also say make sure you follow the different departments on social media because they post a lot of their job availability and saying that they're hiring on social media.
Yeah, next up, did anything surprise you when you became a student?
So coming into college, like, I guess it's just kind of the culture behind the way, like, our high school teachers talk to us about college, how it's going to be, big and scary. And like, I was genuinely terrified. Like, I thought, I'm from a really small town. I'm going to show up and be like the tiniest fish in the biggest pond, and it's just going to be a mess. But the first day I walked on campus, like, the upperclassmen were absolutely so welcoming. The staff was like really excited we were there, excited to help us. Our professors took the time to learn our names, which says a lot about a university. And it was just much more family-like, and it felt like my second home from the day I stepped on campus. So I was definitely pleasantly surprised with just like the environment that Tech provides.
I'll kind of go off of Dakota. That's one thing that like still surprises me every day, even going into my senior year, is I could walk to when I was an RA, I was an RA in NUT, so I could walk from NUT to the Energy Center where I had a journalism class, and I would see 3 to 5 people I knew, or my residents, or anybody I've met, even if I'd only met them once or twice. And it's just like being able to say hi to those many people. It's just so, I mean, it's one of those things that, in high school you kind of are with the same group of people and you see them every single day, but spread out around campus and you're still seeing people and getting the opportunity to say hi. That was something that surprised me, was being able to see upperclassmen say hey to 12 people on their 4-minute walk to class, which I was like, you must know everybody here. But it like really is just an opportunity to kind of get to know, I don't know, I'm just blabbing on about this point. I just like people.
Well, thank you. Kaylin asked, how did you get missing notes or anything if you miss a day in class?
I think that's a really good opportunity to, or like when you're in your classes, like freshman year, take that opportunity to meet the people in your classes. It's a great way to build connections with other people and your peers and get people's numbers. I feel like it's just a golden rule to always have at least one person's number in your class, and just make friends with somebody sitting next to you, or move seats if you have to, but ask your peers. But then also, like Dakota said for the last question, your professors really are there to help you. They want to work with you. Go see them for their office hours. They are really there to help you succeed.
Okay, the next question, what are your favorite clubs?
So I definitely, I've been involved with the Student Activities Board last year, and then I'm also going to be on the executive board again this upcoming year, and that's been a really great experience for me. So basically what the Student Activities Board does is we plan events for all over campus. They're free for any tech students or faculty, and some of the events that we've hosted, we host a big bingo night every year where we give away thousands of dollars in prizes. We host, it's called Tech's Got Talent, and it's basically this giant talent show that we have every year that a lot of people come out and support their friends participating in it. But I just really love what the Student Activities Board stands for, and they try to be inclusive in our events. And I just think it's a really great organization to get involved in, even your freshman year coming on campus.
I think one of my favorite ones, and I feel like it's my job to do this as the director of structured recruitment, would by far probably be Greek Life. Greek Life has given me a lot of different opportunities. Joining my sorority fall 2017 was the first thing I did when I came into college, and that has just completely opened so many other doors for me. Within my own organization, I currently serve on that executive board, and I have the opportunity to serve on the executive board for the governing council, which is the College Panhellenic Council. Registration just opened yesterday. So fun fact, follow us on Instagram. We are answering all questions. But Greek Life has just given me opportunities to do stuff within the community. I've definitely done a lot more community service than I'd ever done. And giving back to the community is probably one of my favorite things I have done. I've given back to mine own individual philanthropy as well as helping others. And that's just, it's such a good and kind of nice thing to see that the hard work you're putting in is going somewhere and you're doing something. I hosted an event last year, Mock Rock. It was the first time we ever had it for the Circle of Sisterhood, which is the philanthropy for the College Panhellenic Council. And it was the first event ever. And I raised about $1,000 or almost $2,000 for it, which was kind of crazy for me. That was months of planning, and I didn't think I was going to make over $500. So stuff like that. You can also like start your own clubs too, which is a great thing that Tech does. You just need 6 members. What are those? Is that the number? The lucky number 6? 6 members and then an advisor, and you have your own club. So that's also a great thing you can do.
I think a good answer to this question is just whatever you're interested in, because there's countless amount of clubs, and it take me a very long time to list them all. But I guarantee you there's a club for something that you're interested in. So, and even if you don't know what you're interested in, you'll come to college and quickly find out what you are, because college is a time where you find yourself. So once you find that out, just join that club and take it from there. That's what I did, and I highly recommend just jumping in as soon as you can.
Yeah, I definitely will agree with Graydon and Gabby. Coming from like the guy's perspective of Greek Life, it definitely gives so many different opportunities that you really don't know about until you get there. But also, like, you don't have to limit yourself to 1 club or 2 clubs. Like most of the student leaders that you see in this panel right now, we're members of like 5, 6 organizations, and a lot of us serve on the executive board of more than one of those. So, you know, find your people, but that's okay if you find them in 5 different places and you divide your time among those people. So just like, it's not really a favorite. You just have to find the favorite ones. Like you pick 5 or 6 or whatever.
I know I already spoke about like the Student Activities Board, but one thing I just want to add, if you're like don't know where to start with getting involved, and I know Elizabeth can probably attest to this, a great place to start is within your major. When I first came to Tech, I was very overwhelmed by the sheer number of things to get involved in. So I actually got involved with Young Democrats because I found that out through being a political science major. So there's a ton of different clubs for your particular major. There's a chemistry club, a math club, like, so starting there is a really great place, a really great way to get involved.
Yeah, to kind of go with that, like I said, I was involved in the Student Nurses Association, and so it's not just for my level of nursing, so it's all levels, and so there's nursing majors that are younger than me and older than me, and so it's been a great opportunity to meet some of the older nursing majors where I can get advice on classes or the best way to study, things like that, and then at the same time also give advice to younger nursing majors, and so you may have that same opportunity within whatever your major is to be able to do that also.
Thanks for that. If you plan on paying some of your tuition with your work study, do you think it's easier to get a job off campus or just accept the work study?
Work study, for sure, in my opinion.
I think that question is definitely like situation specific, but I absolutely would agree with Graydon and say like work study is going to be more beneficial to like your college schedule if you're trying to get involved and if you're trying to like join organizations and stay on top of your academics and stuff, because you know it's just another way that you get to be fully immersed in the campus if you're working there, and I think like work study would definitely be a better option.
Yeah, kind of like what Dakota said. I think it's very specific to your particular situation, and I definitely do think that work study is more beneficial in the long run. But one thing I would just like to note is that with employment on campus, you can only work up to 28 hours a week through tech. So if you're needing to work more hours than that, then it might be beneficial to you to look for off-campus jobs, which there's a wide variety of off-campus jobs throughout Russellville too.
Okay, next question. What was the hardest part about the transition to college life?
I would say mine was definitely being away from home. Just because, I mean, LeBrian, like you said, he's from Little Rock, so I make those drives sometimes, you know, like on the weekends if I want to go to like a restaurant and stuff. But for me, I can't be like, dang, I miss my mom. I'm going to drive to Dallas real quick and then drive back. So that was one thing I had to definitely kind of get used to, was all this virtual stuff now, which I'm a pro at it now. So I'm like, see you, Mom. I'll see you in a year. We can have Zoom calls. We're good. But that was one thing that was probably the hardest thing, was making friends. I say this literally within the first week. As soon as I kind of got over my fear and stuff like that, I was able to kind of branch out. And Dakota was actually in one of my classes my first semester of freshman year, and still to this day, I still talk to him every day. So get to know the people in your classes, because you will probably end up seeing them more times than you think. So, which I'm grateful for. But that was definitely one thing for me. So get involved, get to know your peers, whether that's in your residence hall. If you're not living on campus, get to know the people in your classes, and that helps for sure.
My thing would be time management. Freshman year, it was kind of tough because in high school you're used to having okay, you have your schedule and your classes and all that good stuff, and then you're used to going home and doing your homework. But say in college, you might have an 8 o'clock freshman year, and then you might not have another class until 2 o'clock. So in between that time from 9 to 2, you think, okay, I'm gonna go do some homework, and then you see a friend like, hey, let's go get some breakfast, and then from breakfast y'all go shopping, and from shopping y'all go do Lord knows what. But it's just really important that you time management, have that planner, have that calendar on your phone, and just kind of remember. My best advice I could probably give is don't put it off. If you have time to do it that day, do it. Even if you can't do it all, try to do a little bit of it, do a little bit every day until you get it done. But don't just say, oh, I'm going to do this tomorrow, because more than likely tomorrow you're going to be like, oh, I'm going to do this tomorrow, and the next thing you know, it's due. So just have proper time management and try to work on something. Do something every day.
I'll be like completely honest, and I'm definitely still working on mine, and that's like being responsible. It's the first time that a lot of us like had freedom. Like you're completely out from under anybody's wing, and you're just like doing your own thing. You're there, with your roommates, but you don't really have rules, and no one's like watching over you. So you definitely have to have like a self-governing like conscience, I guess you could say, to be responsible and just make sure that you make smart decisions. Because that was definitely something like as an 18-year-old freshman I didn't really understand at the time, but it's definitely something that you work on like throughout your whole college life, because like Graydon said earlier, it's when you really like become who you are. So
We'll go to the next question. How overwhelming is it and how difficult is it to find your classes?
I wouldn't say it's that relatively hard. The great thing about tech is that you can walk from one corner to the complete opposite corner. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes. So tech is not that like large of a campus. There's definitely some buildings that are more confusing than others. Almost all of my classes are in Witherspoon, but it did take me quite a while to get used to that building. It's kind of like a maze. But even if you do get lost, there's so many people on campus. Literally, if you don't know someone, you can just stop and ask them, and they'll be more than happy to tell you where to go or how to find this room or building. So while it may be confusing the first couple of days, you get used to it pretty fast.
yeah, Alex is exactly right. And a great thing about the tech orientation that we hopefully will get to have in the fall, we have a section where your orientation leaders will take you and like show you where all of your classes are before school even starts. So like you'll get familiarized with campus pretty quickly, because like Alex said, it's not that big. So.
And to kind of touch on Dakota really quick, I know that we've got more questions popping up, so I'm trying to help so we can go through those. Please go to orientation, whether or not over kind of virtual or we get to do one in person. It is so beneficial. And if I could go back to freshman me and like yell at myself because I was like, orientation, I so would, because it's so beneficial. And I didn't realize that until little things freshman year. I was like, how do I work Blackboard? Where's this building? Oh my gosh, I didn't know I could get food in this building. And it's little things like that that you will just discover, and it helps. So please go to orientation.
Next question. How are the volunteering opportunities on campus and off?
One I've been involved with, it's called the Green and Gold Cabinet, and I've volunteered for them since my freshman year. And basically what it is, it's or not the Green and Gold Cabinet, sorry, the Green and Gold Food Pantry. It's a pantry specifically dedicated for tech students, faculty, and staff, where all you have to have is a tech ID, and you can come and get free canned goods, hygiene products, stuff like that. And I've been involved with them, like I said, since my freshman year, and it's a really easy but really rewarding volunteer opportunity. And that's just one of the many ways that you can get involved on campus and off campus in Russellville.
A lot of the organizations that you can be involved in also offer a lot of different opportunities to get involved. So with the Student Nurses Association, I have opportunities to get involved with different service opportunities and volunteer hours through that organization, as well as sororities. And Greek Life is obviously a great way to get those volunteer hours and have different service opportunities.
You can also volunteer within your residence hall, whether you stay on campus or off campus. Because residence halls are always doing kneading cans, coat drops, food drops, and all that good stuff. And that's a good way to volunteer as well.
Great. Do you participate in intramural sports?
I do, and I love them. I've participated in them since freshman year. Yes, freshman year. And sophomore year, my team actually won the softball, spring softball, whatever. I did it within one of my organizations, and that was so fun. It's just something you can do like twice a week. I know in the fall they do like flag football and stuff. They have all sorts of different, I don't want to say them because I'm probably going to butcher one of them and say something that's not actually in there, but there are so many different like opportunities and stuff within your organizations to compete. I know like specifically for Greek life, like a lot of those teams will sign up, and then I know a lot of people will just make teams kind of group up together. You just kind of sign up. It's just a great way to, if you know you're going to have a busy week, play flag football or softball, twice a week, one week, and it's a lot of fun. I highly recommend intramurals with your friends.
Yeah, for intramurals, I play almost every sport. And like Gabby said, it's a great time. The best thing you can do to keep up with all of them, because there's 1,000 of them, stuff that you didn't even know was a sport, like bubble soccer. You want to download the IM Leagues app. And again, like Handshake, you just select your school, and then it'll have a calendar of like every sport throughout the entire year. And Campus Rec and Campus Life do a great job of having those schedules already out with plenty of time ahead. So just download the app, and you can literally, whatever sport you played in high school, there would be at least one iteration of that through intramurals. So it's a great way to get involved and meet some new friends.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And my favorite thing about intramurals is it can be as chill and relaxed or as serious as you want it to be. I know we usually take it pretty serious and are pretty competitive, but if you want to go out there and have fun, like just chill and don't really care if you win or lose, then that's totally cool too. So it's just kind of like a play at your own basis kind of thing. So.
All right. And what type of school supplies would you say that we don't need? Also, how should we pack for arriving on campus?
As much as I wish I could tell you need a crayon box and some crayons and the glue stick, that's not true. Sorry. But if you still want to color, you totally can. But as far as like school supplies go, the first day or two of classes, I would definitely just take a pen and a notebook because they're going to tell you exactly what they want you to have for their classes and all that good stuff. So like show up to class, have a piece of paper to write on and something to write on it with, and they'll let you know if you need like a binder or a composition notebook. So there's definitely no reason to go out and buy like school supplies before you even get there because you never know what you're actually going to need. So.
One thing. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Another thing I want to add to that, kind of in the spirit of waiting to see what you need, wait and see if you need your textbook. I know every class has a quote unquote required textbook, but I didn't order a single textbook last semester. Part of that was due to the fact that we were online half the semester, but I still got a 3.6, so pretty decent. But definitely see if your teacher requires or your professor requires you to get your textbook and see if it's required for you to be successful in the course. By all means, if you need it to be successful, absolutely go get it. But they can be very expensive, especially if you buy them. So definitely keep that in mind. And that's what I've always done. And I've been successful thus far. So a little pro tip.
I think I just have two things to add. One is I would definitely wait before buying like a ton of school supplies, but something I would buy ahead of time is like a couple of notebooks, because if you wait until like second or third day of class, Russellville Walmart will be completely sold out. They will not have a single notebook in stock, as far as I've experienced. So I would just have like a couple notebooks, and then if you need more stuff, you can wait till the second or third day of class. And then regarding textbooks, for me personally, being a political science major, my textbooks are super duper important for me getting the grades that I want. And if you think like without a doubt that you're going to need your textbooks, one thing I would recommend with us coming up the fall semester, definitely buy it tax-free weekend, because you're going to save a lot of money on textbooks if you buy them during the tax-free weekend, which I think is like the first weekend of August, but don't quote me on that.
I just want to reiterate what Graydon said. I also didn't buy a textbook this past semester. I don't hardly ever buy textbooks just because my major doesn't require them in a lot of classes. but I have a cumulative 4.0 GPA. So a lot of times, like, your professors are not going to require them for your success in the class because they're going to give you all the material you need in their presentations and in their PowerPoints and lectures and stuff. So definitely, like, you can save yourself like upwards of $500 if you, like Alex said, if you know you have to have them, get them. But if you're just like kind of not sure, like, wait and go to class for a week. And then if he's like referencing the textbook, or hey, y'all need to read this tonight, like, then you know you need to have it. But if not, like, save yourself that money because $500 is a lot in college.
Last thing, I was going to kind of answer the second question on that, how you should pack for arriving on campus. Typically, Res Life, if you're planning on living obviously on campus, Res Life will post kind of do's and don'ts. They also have it on their website now that you can look at it. So like toasters and stuff, anything that's like a fire hazard, they say don't bring. But they typically post those things. My biggest recommendation from being an RA, I know Alex can attest to this, and so can LeBrian, do not bring a U-Haul. Don't bring a U-Haul. Your dorm is going to be too tiny to bring a U-Haul. I think there might be like dimensions and stuff online if you're kind of wanting to see like how big your room's going to be. Definitely coordinate with your roommate, because if you guys both bring, I don't even know what you could duplicate, but if you brought 4 of the same thing, that's just extra room and extra money you're spending. So definitely like communicate with them, look at the do's and don'ts, and you should be good to go then.
Yeah, and just kind of wrapping all that back up together, like, move-in day at Tech is one of the most least stressful days that I've ever experienced. I was really stressed about it. My parents were kind of worried about it because I was like the first child they were sending off to college. But I did not carry a single box to my dorm room because they literally like swamp your car, grab everything for you, like organizations that have signed up to help you move in, and will carry it to your room for you. So it's absolutely the most time efficient, like effective way to do it, and it's great. So it's definitely not something to stress about.
Yeah, I definitely overpacked when I came freshman year, and honestly, you probably will too because you won't really know what you need, and it's fine. So just keep all the stuff that you don't need in a box and take it home on your next trip, and then you'll kind of have it figured out for later.
All right, thanks guys. I just want to make a quick little note here. So this session is scheduled to end, sorry, I've got a dog. This session is scheduled to end at 4:50. But this is our last session of the day, so we can go as long as we want.
I'll start asking the questions, Morgan. So the next question is, let's see, where are we at? Is there usually a good number of students working on campus restaurants like Slim's?
Can you repeat the question again?
Is there usually a good number of students working, I guess, on campus restaurants like Slim's?
Oh, most definitely. So the campus is led by students, like student workers. It's student workers everywhere. So in the different departments, Slim's Chicken, Which, the cafeteria, you'll see a lot more professionals in the cafeteria because that's their daily job. But there's even student workers in there as well. But for sure, there's student workers everywhere.
For the next one, how many people are usually in a class?
So our student to faculty ratio at Arkansas Tech is 18-1. So what that basically means is for every 18 students, we have a faculty member on staff with Tech. Now that doesn't mean that you're going to have 18 students in every class, because some of like the gen ed classes for your freshmen, you know, I've had up to like 40 students. But like I said earlier, the professors always take the time to learn your name because the classes are typically smaller. And then as you get up into your like higher ed major specific classes, you're going to get down to like 18, 15. I had a class with like 12 people last semester. So it definitely is a lot smaller than a lot of other university classes.
Same thing going off of Dakota, like my gen ed class when I took environmental science my sophomore year, there were probably like 40, 50 people in that class. And then a couple semesters ago when I started taking my senior level journalism classes, my social media class had 8 people in it. And it was 6 to 9 p.m. on Thursday nights, which is awful. If you ever have to take a night class like that, that's 3 hours long. Good luck. I have another one this semester. But they kind of just range. And once you, I mean, like Dakota said, and I know Elizabeth, with the nursing program, it's a little different. But once you kind of get into your emphasis type programs and classes, you are going to kind of get used to seeing the same 12 people in all your classes. That's at least how it is for me with PR.
Yeah, like Gabby said, mine is a little bit different being in the nursing program, as we have to apply and then be accepted. And so my class is kind of like you're back in high school again and you're with the same people all day long for every single class. It's actually more like elementary school again. Like we all are in the same classroom, same seats, everything. But I think the biggest class that I've ever probably had was probably my gen psych class. And I think it had maybe 60 people my freshman year. And now all of my nursing classes, there's I think 40 of us in my class.
Great. Next question, the question of all questions. Is the food in the cafeteria good?
Yes. I say yes, and then if it's something in college, you'll definitely learn how to say one station over here has French fries, and the other station over there has baked potatoes and chili, and you have cheese from the salad bar, so you make you some chili cheese fries or something. But the food in the cafeteria is good. Slim's Chicken, Which, Doc's Place, all that, Jerry's Place, all that is very good, and the staff in there are awesome. They love the tech students.
Yeah, so first of all, LeBron, I love that you're driving. I've been wanting to comment on this whole time.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do, you know.
Secondly, you can always find me at the pizza bar, the baked potato soup, or the dessert bar in the caf, because those are my 3 absolute favorite things in the world. The potato soup is unmatched by any restaurant you'll ever eat at. You put some cheese on it from the salad bar and you are set. And having a soft serve ice cream machine and those cookies that the sweet ladies in the cafeteria make, I promise that's where the freshman 15 comes from, because they're unbeatable. So yeah, the food's actually probably the best cafeteria food in Arkansas, I would say.
Yeah, the potato soup is definitely like the hidden gem of the cafeteria, I feel like. And then once everybody figures it out, when it's cold outside and it's winter, there's like a mad dash to the potato soup line. So definitely know what day they're going to have that. That's, I swear, the best thing that the cafeteria has.
I'd also like to mention that for people with food specific allergies and stuff, you can still eat in the cafeteria. If you talk with the Chartwell's people, they'll make sure to have meals that you can eat, and even small stuff like I'm lactose intolerant, I can't have milk. They provide it's either soy milk or almond milk at the cafeteria, if you want cereal or something. So I feel like they're very inclusive to food allergies and different things like that.
I accidentally.
Go
ahead.
Okay, then for the cafeteria and the dining options on campus, we also have the dine-in eating app that you can look and see what the cafeteria is having for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for that day.
Okay, I accidentally skipped over a question. What kind of rules does Tech have for freshmen?
So this just kind of goes back to my point earlier. That's a big thing. You don't have a curfew or anything. You're, like I said, you're self-governed. Obviously, the law still applies. Don't break the law. But as far as a curfew or rules specific for freshmen, that's not something that we have at Tech. So basically you govern yourself and learn how to make good decisions.
I will say though, living in residence halls, you will have policies. I don't know why I'm doing this. They are policies. Ignore this. You will have policies. And Tech is a smoke-free campus, so that's also enforced in the residence halls. You can find all of the stuff on the Res Life website for kind of do's and don'ts. But I mean, just like Dakota, if you're doing something that's against the law, it's going to also be against the law on a college campus. So just be cautious of what you're doing. But I mean, we're not one of those schools where your RA is going to knock at your door at midnight and check and see if you're in there. We don't do bed checks or anything like that. That was one thing that I told my residents was like, I'm not your mom, but I'm also here to make sure that you are succeeding. So, and that's kind of what your RAs are kind of there for. If you need any kind of resources, stuff like that, we're here to help. So.
Great. And I think the next two questions were either answered directly to the student or we've already discussed. So I'm going to keep going to the next one. Would you recommend taking summer classes?
Yes. I highly recommend it. I'm in one as we speak right now. I just finished up my classwork for the week. So I highly recommend it. One thing is, I mean, I'm graduating an entire semester early, so I highly recommend, even if you can take like 1 or 2 classes, they are at a faster pace. So if that's kind of something that you're like, I don't know if I can do a whole semester worth of work in 4 weeks, I would definitely be cautious about that because it is at a faster pace, but I recommend it if you need to get credits out of the way.
Like Gabby, I'm also in a summer class right now, but I have kind of a different viewpoint on it. Like if you need to do it, I definitely say like go for it, like so you graduate on time. But I've changed my major 8 times, so I got a little bit behind, and I'm having to take summer classes to just graduate on time. So if you're just taking them so you can graduate early, like college is the best 4 years of your life, and I promise you're not going to want to leave when you get here. So definitely don't like rush your life along. Like if you're on track, just stay an extra semester. I can guarantee you Gabby wishes she was going to stay an extra semester with us. But and one thing about summer classes is also like the financial side of things. So it just kind of depends. It's like situation specific, but sometimes you can't get scholarships for those. So sometimes they have to come straight out of your pocket. So if you're worried about like paying for them, that's another thing you need to think about before you sign up for them.
Okay, next question. I've looked at a ton of lists, so I think I have a good idea, but when moving in, is there anything you found that you needed that wasn't on the list?
I think something that I guess I just didn't bring and didn't think about, but I feel like one of the most important things that you need is an umbrella. It rains all the time, and an umbrella and rain boots and a rain jacket or something that you can wear for when it's pouring down rain and the tech campus floods. That's one of those things that if you don't have it, you're completely unprepared, and it's kind of makes for a not great day if it's pouring down rain and you don't have any of those things.
I think two things I would
oh,
say.
you got it, Alex.
I think 2 things I would say. I don't know if the first one's on the list that you've looked at or not, but lots and lots of command strips and command hooks. Because if you're like me, I wanted to cover my blank white walls with as much things as I could. So you're going to want to use command strips for that. And then another thing is a longer phone cord, because most of the time you'll like loft your bed up a little bit so you can store things under it, and the normal phone cord is just not going to cut it. So I would definitely get a longer phone cord if you don't have one.
My piece of advice is anything that'll help you like compact your belongings as much as possible, and you have to get very creative. I remember my freshman year, about like a shoe rack that you usually hang over your door, and since I had a raised bed, I put it on like the railing on the side of my bed, so our door could be used for other things, and I put all my shoes on that, or just anything else. Use as much or as little space as you can. Put stuff under your bed if you can. Like I put my desk and my fridge and my dresser under my bed since it was raised. But just little things like that to help you conserve as much space as possible. Because I was in a nut triple my freshman year too. And it was tough living with 3 dudes in a room that probably wasn't supposed to fit 3 dudes and all their belongings. So definitely keep that in mind.
Yeah, I have 2 things. And the first one, like, you don't know you need it until you need it. Like, it's too late. You've already needed it. But if you're going to sleep 6 foot up in the air and you're like a restless sleeper like I am, you need some kind of little rail or like guard, because I fell off the bed multiple times and it woke me up from my peaceful sleep. And so that's something I would definitely like recommend, even if you just like build one out of some wood. I know a lot of my friends had them because like it's a long way down if you roll off the top of a lofted bed. And the second thing, I don't know if it's on the list, but like a shower caddy. especially the ones that roll. So you can literally just roll your stuff down the hallway to the bathroom, especially if you live in like a community style bathroom or the semi-private bathrooms like M Street. That came in really handy because you just put all of your hygiene stuff in the little shower caddy and push it down the hallway to the shower. So that was definitely a helpful thing.
All right, thanks guys. Our next question. So I haven't heard anything from my roommate. So if I found a different roommate, will I be able to change roommates with them even if I don't know the status of my current roommate?
So I can answer this firsthand because I actually did the same thing my freshman year. I was supposed to live with my friend that I had met at some tech thing. What's the tech thing that we do in February? Why am I forgetting what it's called?
Time Out for Tech.
Thank you. Time Out for Tech. I was like, I go to it every year. Hello. And I didn't get placed in the same room. So what I had to do is I had to call Res Life and basically say like, this is supposed to be my roommate, but I have this person, and you basically just need to kind of get them to both consent that they're willing to switch. So not knowing the status of your roommate might change some things. I'd recommend calling Res Life. Sometimes people that get accepted and kind of do all their housing stuff kind of fall through. That was the kind of situation with this where I didn't know the status of my roommate. She ended up not going to school. So that's kind of one thing. If you can get in contact with them, that's a great thing to do. If not, definitely talk to Res Life. They will try to help you the best of their ability. That's what I would recommend.
Great, thank you. Did they really enforce the microwave wattage?
Alex, have you ever checked somebody's microwave wattage?
No, I don't even know how to check that. So.
Okay, so I was like really concerned about this too because I was like not trying to break the rules. I was a really goody two shoes kid back in high school. And so when I went on my microwave hunt, I discovered that almost every microwave you find fits the standards. So like it's really hard. You have to be trying to break that rule to break it. So I think the wattage is just so you don't like explode the outlet because you have to have like a bigger outlet to plug the bigger ones in. But like most normal microwaves fit the standard.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No,
One of my friends works in Res Life, and she said that she has had someone bring a full-size fridge. So don't do that. Do kind of stay within the fridge requirements, but.
All right, awesome. So just don't bring like restaurant size microwaves or full size fridges and you guys should be fine. The next question, does Tech have a textbook rental program?
They do, and if you're gonna use part of your like financial aid to pay for your books, I definitely recommend going through Tech's bookstore, the Barnes and Noble. Just because for me, I usually use part of my financial aid every semester to pay for my books, and it's really easy because they charge it to your student account, and then your financial aid takes care of it. And you can definitely choose to rent your books or buy your textbooks. And if you rent them, you just return them back to the bookstore at the end of the semester.
So I feel like I'm always like providing alternate viewpoints to you, Alex. I'm very sorry. So what I always do is I also use my financial aid, but textbook brokers is usually a little bit cheaper. I definitely think you should check textbook prices before you buy. But if you do decide to go the textbook brokers route, which is right across the road from Tech, they have this really cool program called Buy Now, Pay Later. And so basically they like put your payment off until after Tech has had time to give you a refund check. So I always have my refund money that I get from my financial aid to go and pay for my textbooks. So like either way, like neither of them are right or wrong, like whatever you want to do, you still get the book. But definitely like just go the cheaper route is what I would say.
Going off of Dakota, I work at textbook brokers, so I highly recommend it. But same thing with Alex, my freshman year, honestly, every year until I started working at textbook brokers, I would kind of go and see what books were cheaper. Sometimes with textbook brokers, we have to buy the book for you, so it's going to be more. But then I mean, like my CSP Tech 1001 class, you guys are all going to have to take that. It's an orientation to the university course, and you have to buy it. And it's probably one of the most expensive books I've had to buy. It was like $100 or something like that. But that's like something I went through the bookstore for. So sometimes you're going to, if you want to do the cheaper route, and yes, it is a little more kind of takes time, but if you want to save money, and even if it's going to save $10, definitely do that. But I mean, going off of Dakota, textbook brokers typically is cheaper. I think last semester I paid for 3 classes like less than $50 for my books, which isn't bad. I'm also in a course where my books are like this big, so I'm not spending much money anyway, but I would recommend that.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, me?
Sorry. Yeah.
I like to spend as little money as humanly possible when buying textbooks. I'd never buy them. I just rent them. So if you want to sacrifice convenience by not renting either tech or textbook brokers to save money, you can find a lot of websites online that look very sketchy. But just do a little bit of research, and I try and spend under like $50 a semester on textbooks, which is absolutely doable if you're in the College of Business. If you just do some research and rent, sometimes they'll have a couple pages ripped out or some markings, but I promise you can spend very little money on textbooks if you try. So that's my little
Get
piece
graded up for all of your textbook needs. He could help you out there.
Yes, absolutely.
The only thing I would say like you should buy from the bookstore, like hands down, is like lab manuals for science majors, because a lot of times textbook brokers, like the printing messes up, and it's just because they don't have, I don't know, it's not their fault. But sometimes it's not the updated versions, and like the lab professors are really particular that you have the right copy, obviously, so you have the right material. So a lot of times that's just something you should get at the bookstore because they've collaborated with the professors, and it's usually about the same price anyways because you have to buy it. So
Also, another little tip, Textbook Brokers has free Scantrons. Freshman year, I used a lot of those, and at the bookstore, you have to pay for them. I couldn't tell you how much they are, but definitely go across the street to Textbook Brokers and get Scantrons.
All right, thanks guys. The next question is how to get around Russellville if I do not have a car. How is the bus system there?
I mean, I've never taken the like tech bus system, but I know a lot of international students that do use it. They go to Walmart with the tech buses, so I definitely think just talk to some international students about that. But lots of my friends don't have cars that go to tech, and honestly, just making friends with people in your residence hall and people in your classes, and they're more than willing to take you wherever you need to go. If they're already going to Walmart, a lot of times I'll ask my friends that don't have cars if they need anything and if they want to ride with me.
I'll be honest, I do have a car at college, and I am not in my own vehicle 9 out of 10 times because I'm either like with some friends or like going somewhere else that more than one of us are just going. So like if you're involved or have a lot of friends, like make friends in your classes, like you never really have to spend a lot of time alone if you don't want to. And I drive Elizabeth's car more than she drives her car. So like just make friends and you'll be fine.
And to go off of that question, because I'm reading it right now where it says going off of him, should we get a bike if we're not bringing a car to campus? I mean, bringing a bike is great. I know a lot of people go to like Bonadilla and they'll bike around the campus and stuff. That also says there is Russellville bike friendly. They do have like the little bike lanes and stuff. So dang, I'm knocking 3 questions out at once. There we go. So I would say Russellville is bike friendly. Don't ride in the middle of the street if there's the bike path. I'll say that. That's, you don't want to hit anybody. Just be smart.
Kind of going off that, is Russellville bike friendly? I was actually training to bike across the country this past semester before coronavirus hit, and I had to do a lot of biking around Russellville. You'll find it's not the most bike friendly community. There's only a few streets with bike lanes, so definitely be mindful of that. There's a great bike shop in town, and the guy who owns that will give you like the best advice on where to bike, things like that. But if you do bike, just be mindful of where those bike lanes are, what streets have those. And tech, if you bike on tech campus, that's the best place to bike. So if you're commuting on a bike, I highly recommend it if you're just biking to campus. But yeah, just be mindful of those things.
I will say your classes are going to be kind of close together. I mean, they might not be, but like from one end of campus to the other, I mean, we're not a huge university here where it's going to take you 25 minutes to walk from point A to point B. So if that's kind of what you're thinking with just the commuting and making it faster, it may, I mean, depending on where you're biking to, like being able to kind of put your bike up and locking it and stuff may take longer. But I mean, I definitely see people with skateboards. We have SGA has had the bird scooters before that people will use. There's a lot of different ways that you can commute. Just kind of add on from Graydon.
And adding on to the bike thing real quick, I brought a bike to campus my freshman year. I didn't touch it either semester. Like, it stayed outside my residence hall locked up. That's just me personally. I mean, you may love to bike and bike all over campus, but if you're debating on whether or not to bring a bike and you're not really a bike person like me, I would say don't bring it. You're not going to use it. But if you do bring a bike, I got a flat tire when I first got there, when I thought I was going to use my bike, and I took it to Campus Rec and they fixed it for me. So that's a really great resource for those of you who love bikes.
All right, cool. And the last question that we have down here in the chat box, on your tuition and aid part of One Tech, there is a cost of attendance for attending tech, including miscellaneous and transportation fees. Is that number coming from what you have to pay to tech, or just an estimate of what students will spend?
As far as I know, I'm pretty sure that's just an estimate. It's like if it's not a charge on your One Tech thing, that's just an estimate because everyone's cost of living is a little bit different. So if you're like me and irresponsibly eat out 5 times a week, then your cost of living is going to be a little bit more than if you eat ramen noodles and hot dogs and be responsible and cook at home. But anyways, it just all like varies on how much money you want to spend, how much gas you put in your vehicle based on how much driving you do, all that stuff. So it's really like situation specific.
Yeah, that's definitely estimated cost. And I definitely say that's a very liberal cost. But basically they just kind of use that to figure out like if they're going to offer you a loan, how much they're going to offer you, and how much you might get back with your financial aid and stuff like that. So honestly, I wouldn't worry too much about it, but that's what it's there for in case you're curious.
All right, and what kitchen items can we use that's not open fire?
I'm like having a hard time like really trying to think about this right now. I don't know if you're
Air fryer.
Yeah, some of your residence halls, and if you're in Vista in the Commons, you'll have a kitchen within your apartment. But like being in Nut, we have a kitchen and you can like check things out. So some of your residence halls will have kitchens. I know Payne has one too. I think those are the only two. I'm trying to think if there is another one that does. You're in M Street. Okay. What advice do you have for M Street, Alex?
Yeah, so I was a RA in M Street the last 2 years. There is no kitchen in M Street, unfortunately, but I would recommend bringing a microwave, and then if you're really like into cooking, you could bring an air fryer, maybe like a rice cooker. I'm pretty sure you can have a crock pot. I'm not sure, but like you can't have a toaster or like a hot plate, things like that. And I'm pretty sure Residence Life has more information on that on their website. If you just Google AT Residence Life, you can probably find the exact correct information there.
Yeah, and like these questions are asked down here, like different residence halls. It'll tell you on there how many people are in your residence halls, what kind of different things you have. I mean, we all have washers and dryers and stuff, and ways for you to do things like that. So it'll give you extra like amenities that each residence hall has. So I'd recommend looking at the Res Life page.
And then also from the Res Life page, you can look at the different 360 videos that are on there as well. And they'll tell you, you won't actually be able to see the different amenities, but before they actually go into the room and afterwards, they'll give you, hey, this residence hall has washer and dryers. All of them do, but this residence hall might have a kitchen, but it'll tell you all that information on the video.
Just to answer those like 3 little questions though, Turner does not have a kitchen. You cannot bring a toaster, and Stadium Suites do not have kitchens either.
All right, awesome. We have answered all the questions that are in the chat box. So unless there are any last minute questions, I want to thank you guys for hanging in there. Oh wait, we got one more question. How do you know your roommate will be if you did not pick?
So typically when you go into the StarRes portal to kind of do all your housing stuff, it's kind of open for everybody. So it'll kind of go based on if room 501 is all girls and room 502 is all guys. If you're a girl, you're not going to be able to get into the all guys one. So it'll kind of block off the ones that you can and can't get into. So people can just pick the room, and then you can look on StarRes, and it should tell you if there are other people assigned in there. If you didn't pick a roommate, like I know for me, when I was trying to live in Vista and I didn't have any roommates I was going to live with, I was the first person to pick that room, but then I was able to go back and look, and the other beds had already been taken, and that's how I kind of got to see who my roommates were.
Go ahead.
Gabby mentioned StarRes. That's what the system is on our end for viewing options, but for y'all, it'll be accessible under the housing portal.
And just one thing I'd like to add real quick before we log off. If you go follow @NewStudentsATU, it's through the orientation program. Me and Elizabeth are running that account right now. We post tons of information, a lot of stuff that we've talked about today, but we're going to be continually posting information about different offices, different departments, and different organizations, and just different like little tips and tricks at Tech during the semester or during the summer. So I definitely recommend go following that. I'll leave the in the chat box right now.
Cavante, I'm digging the beach background, bro.
I had one question. Adam sent it to me privately. I assume he didn't mean to, but he asked, anybody know what Hughes Hall is like? It's kind of hard to find information of it online, but it was the only dorm option I had.
Hughes Residence Hall was actually, so it's located by M Street. It was the AG LLC, which is a living learning community. So are you saying there's no pictures on there? Is that what they said, Graydon?
They just said it's kind of hard to find information of it online.
Oh, okay. Well, in last year, Hughes was just our overflow building. We had to open it back up after it was closed. So there probably isn't any information on there. But it is a community style residence hall. And with the community style, it's your bathroom is outside of your room. You have a lobby area, and you'll have study rooms, I believe. But with all this COVID-19 stuff going on, we won't have study rooms because of all the COVID-19 stuff. But it is still community style. You have doubles and singles inside of Hughes.
It's a pretty nice dorm overall. One of my friends freshman year lived in it. And I feel like the rooms, obviously there's anecdotal evidence, but I feel like the rooms are bigger than normal dorms, at least the ones I've been in, at least the doubles. And it's a very nice dorm in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, I definitely think it's like the most homey like dorm because like the doors are wooden and like not, I don't know, it's just very like a cute little farmhouse.
All right, next question. Is there not a way for us to check to see our roommate status? like just to see if they're still going to attend ATU.
What's the last part of that question?
Oh,
Ron, interrupt me again. I'm just kidding. No, you know more than I do. Keep talking.
The last part of
What
the
was-
question was like just to see if they are still going to attend ATU.
so if there's a way to check your roommate status.
So is there a way to check in to see if their roommate is still coming to ATU?
Yeah, that's what the question is.
No. No, there's not a way. The only way we'll know even is if that person signs the contract termination, cancels their contract or whatever, and then they'll be taken out of the room.
And there are times, I know O'Brien and Alex can definitely agree on this. There's times where I, even as the RA, wouldn't find out until the day of that, oh, you have somebody moving into 304 now. So there might be times where at the beginning of the semester, you say you just have another roommate and maybe they don't show up and you're like, cool, I have the room to myself. There's a possibility somebody will be moving in and your RAs might not even know when that is. So definitely just kind of be cautious of that. We don't do it to kind of just be like, oh, here's a roommate, there you go. And I want to say 90% of the time don't even know when people are moving in.
I would say like the only way that you're really going to be able to find out also is just reach out on social media. We live in such like a virtual time that pretty much everyone is on one platform of social media or another. So I promise it's not weird to just message your roommate and be like, hey, I see that you're my roommate on the housing portal. Like, it's not weird. Then y'all can like plan and coordinate things and just get to know each other before you ever get there. I know some of my friends that had random roommates would like hang out before school ever started, so they got to know each other, which is a really good idea. So you're not just like thrown into living with someone before you even get to know them. So.
All right, and how is the fitness center?
Talking about, I assume they're talking about TechFit. TechFit is, I mean, it's very nice, especially for the price. It's $25 a semester, which is, I mean, it's the best price you'll get at any gym in the country, honestly. And it has everything you need. The only thing it wouldn't have is free weights, so like deadlift. Actually, I do think they have free weights now, if I'm not mistaken. But it has everything you need, and everything you could ever want, and it comes at a great price too. The only downside is you can't use it during the winter and the summer.
I will say they also have their hours are kind of different. Like it's not like they're open from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. So that's just kind of one thing to take into consideration. Graydon, you probably know more about that, but I know they kind of sometimes do like on different days they have different breaks and stuff like that.
Yeah, they usually open around 6 a.m. And then I think they close at noon, and then they open back up at like 2 p.m. And don't quote me on this. And I think they close at 9 p.m. Also, the weekend hours are kind of weird. I mean, I still don't even know them. But for regular hours, if you're an early bird, you can work out. And if you stay up late, you can work out. So it's pretty much all that matters.
All right, anybody got any other questions? Well, I just want to say thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you so much to our student leader panelists that are here that have been giving us their time so they can talk about their experience and answer all these questions. Real quick, I want to let you guys know that at the end of the week, we're going to be launching an app for the incoming freshman class called Go to ATU. It's going to be a new platform for you guys to connect with each other, look and see all the stuff that you need to do, get resources. And one of the coolest features is that there will be a wall on there that you guys can post and talk to each other. So I wanted to throw that out. And yeah, just say thank you. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. And I really hope to see a lot of you in the sessions that we have for the next 2 days. Thanks, guys. Bye.